Welcome to the last episode of season one of the Balancing Healthy podcast. It feels so surreal to say this because I remember when this podcast was birthed, like 6 months ago. I remember I was at a retreat. Sorry if you can hear the pitter patter, that's just the dogs in the background. I was literally at a retreat at the start of September last year, and a podcast was something that I had been wanting to do for like ever. I was on my vision boards like for a couple of years. I was just like, I love to yap, which also, side note, if I need to stop and have some water, I've been yapping all day. It's currently 4 p.m. at the time we're recording. I've been yapping for nearly 12 hours. So just bear with me. But I remember going to this retreat in September, and I had always just thought like a podcast just wasn't for me. Like, why do I get to do a podcast? Like who am I to do one? And this is one of those things where it's a really important lesson in like why not? Like why can't you start one? And I remember sitting at that retreat, sitting around this big table, and we're all just openly discussing and workshopping things. And someone else was talking about a podcast. And I remember I was like in a conversation, and I was like, one of my ears was like prickling over there. I was like, oh, they're talking about a podcast. Like, oh, maybe like I can go back to this idea. And then I literally went to my mentor who ran the retreat. I went to her literally like the next week or something. It was like 7 to 10 days later. And we had a call, and I was like, I really want to do a podcast. And she was like, why not? Why don't you? And I was like, oh, okay. It was literally just like one person being like, yeah, why don't you? And I was like, okay, so I'm gonna do it. So I literally it was so lucky. This was September last year, and literally I had already had a photo shoot booked 2 weeks after the retreat or 2 weeks after that call or something like that. So literally I used that photo shoot, got my photos done for the podcast, and then like bing bang bob, we have a podcast. So, one of those lessons that I really want to bring into today's episode. But firstly, I love a reflection. So, we're going to do a little reflection on what's happened because there is so much power in saying yes to things. And this is something that I say all the time. Like, what have you got to lose by saying yes? And literally, how much can your life change in 6 months? Which I think in this case, it's been 5 months since the first episode. We've done 12 episodes every fortnight. It's like 24 weeks. I think it's been, I don't know. I did the maths. It didn't quite work out to 6 months. I don't know. But basically, I just want to do a little trip down memory lane and like look at how far things have come in that time. So I literally remember sitting there making the cover art for this podcast in September 2024. And I remember I was actually sitting at my mum's house at the time. I had done the photo shoot on the Saturday. I was so excited. I was living like I was on a fucking high. And then the next day, not out of nowhere, but there was a very tough decision made to say goodbye to my Benji, which, if you've listened to all these episodes, I spoke about this somewhere. I don't know what episode it was, but I've spoken about this in another episode. And it was like I was writing this hype in the podcast and the photo shoot, and like, oh my God, I can't wait for everything coming. And then it was like I had a massive low of like, okay, now I have to say goodbye to Benji, who's been with me for 8 years and literally like my little rock, my whole life, my soul. And I still like, again, it feels like so long ago that we said goodbye to him, but it also feels like yesterday. And like so much has changed since he's been gone, but it feels like nothing has changed. And this is why sitting and reflecting on everything is so important. I'm getting teary. If you're watching the video, I'm getting teary. This is why sitting and reflecting on everything is so important because we really don't see how far we've come in such a short amount of time. So anyway, I remember sitting there the night before we put him down, sitting at mum's house, just on my laptop. Like I was there to spend time with him, but he was so far gone. Like it was his time that he literally like didn't know who I was. He was just having a snooze. Oh, getting teary again. He was just sleeping the whole time. And I sat there and I created the cover art for this podcast in that time. And it's one of those things where we can easily let something really hard bring us down or bring us back. And there's absolutely validation in that. Like it was a really hard time, but equally we can still say yes to other things that are going to propel us forward or push us up or anything like that. So there is a really big lesson in that. You can have balance, you can have both, and it doesn't have to be one or the other as much as your feelings are valid for whatever said thing that you are going through. Anyway, I gotta pick up my notes because I'm going on a yap. So yeah, October we birthed this podcast, which was very, very, very cool. Mid-October we did that. Um, then November, I went to my second business retreat, which was also really, really cool. And I talk about these retreats a lot because I had them within 2 months of each other. And I just don't think anyone really understands how important things like this are. Like, I'm not saying you have to go and book a retreat, but attending in-person events or in-person retreats or like whatever the thing is, I love attending things like this because you just don't realize how much you can learn from other people. Like, literally, you can learn something from everyone. And I think if you are someone or someone who thinks that they know everything, then like you really need a big fucking check because there is always something to learn. And I love learning. I'm constantly learning, evolving. And again, it's that thing of in this last 5 months, how much I have grown and evolved in this time just by saying yes and going and doing random things here and there. Not random, like the retreat was planned, but like other things as well, like here and there, and just saying yes to even things that really fucking terrify you because it can propel you forward by so much more than you ever thought. And I'm going to relate this to health and fitness soon, but I'm going to keep going through my reflection. Um, so that was November. That was also the month that Balancing Her came to fruition. So my 10-week group program that I'm currently running at the moment, we are literally halfway. I've just done the halfway check-ins for it and photos, measurements, everything. Like what these girls have done in 5 months, I mean, 5 months, 5 weeks is unreal. And I'm going to be sharing it to my Instagram, everything like that. I might talk about it in the next season of the podcast, but like, wow, like literally blown away. Like one of my clients in Balancing Her, if you were to look at scale weight, only dropped 700 grams. Her photos are unreal. The way that her waist has shrunk, her legs are more defined, her arms more defined. I literally was mid yapping doing a check-in with her and I clicked on the photos and she got my real time reaction. I was like, holy fucking shit. You would like, yes, she lost 18 centimeters across her body, and all that was quote unquote dropped on the scales was 700 grams. And that is because she was doing her strength training, eating her protein, eating her food. So she's building muscle at the same time as losing fat. And so her body is actually changing. It's the body composition that's changing. So fat loss and weight loss are very different things, but that is a whole other thing I can get into. I really had to point that out because I just like was sitting there and I was just so proud. And like I kept going back and forth in messages, I'm so proud of you. And she's like, I'm so proud. And I was like, oh, it's just, it blows me away. But anyway, so November was when Balancing Her came to fruition. And it's like, wow, cool. Look how much like we're changing lives already. We're only halfway through. December is just December. It's a busy, blurry month. I firstly became an auntie, so that was very cool for me. And we literally at this point had no idea where we were moving to. So it's mid-March and I've moved house. And literally like less than 3 months ago, I had no idea where I was moving to. Like that was looking back, I'm like, it's a little bit stressful. But there's a whole reason for it. I'm not going to get into it. There's a whole reason. But yeah, a little bit stressful. But again, it was just like it was December, going with the flow. There was a lot on like social Christmas events, like everything like that. So it was just kind of like we rode that month and that was just, it was what it was. And then we come to January and I was literally, again, I'm like, I literally reading my notes. I'm like, a bleh month. I'm like, literally what happened in January? I did have a meetup with my clients, which was so, so cool because one of them, she lives like the border of Victoria, New South Wales, and she was down in Melbourne. So I was like, guys, we are going to have a walk, yap, coffee, hugs. It was so much fun. And again, like I'm not terrified, but I'm nervous when I host these things. I'm nervous when I jump on a call. Like I still get nervous when I do these things because I care so much about it. And I care so much about everyone and I want everyone to have a good time and have fun and to learn something. And it's one of those things that it makes me nervous, but I still do it anyway. Like I'm not going to let that stop me. It was like I said, starting this podcast, it makes me nervous, but I'm not going to let that stop me. And here we are, about to wrap up season one. So anyway, had a meet up with my clients in January. Again, a blow month, figuring out where we're moving, what's going on, all the different things. And then we moved to Feb, which is when Balancing Her started. So the 3rd of Feb, which was really, really cool. Like I said, we're 5 weeks in. I did another meetup with the girls, I think a week or no, 2 weeks ago, which was, again, a lot of fun. It was my birthday month. There was so many things on. It was either moving or birthday events every single weekend. And moved back in with some of my family. So my dad, my brother, and my sister, which is still adjusting to it, only because I currently don't have a car, which is something I'm going to get to, but currently don't have a car. So just adjusting to that has been a lot. But it's been really, really interesting because for me, the last couple of years, relationships have become really, really, really important. Like family and friends, it's just become something that's really close to my heart. So it actually, like, as much as other things have changed, it actually makes me very happy to be here and be with them and just have that quality time. So, yeah, love that for us. And then now we're in March, which we're mid-March right now. So not a lot has happened, although a few things have happened. Obviously, halfway through balancing her, which is incredible. I hired a VA. We're technically like in the midst of officially starting. This is something as well that coming back to where I said earlier, like how much further along could you be by just saying yes earlier? I wanted to hire this VA last year. I had that gut feeling at the end of last year, about November. And I was like, I just feel like I need to hire her. She's going to help me so much. And then I just sat on it. And then she closed her books. She closed her books and I was like, fuck, like I should have hired her. Like I need the help. Like there is so much that goes on behind the scenes in running a business. I'm also a PT. Like there's so much that goes on. I am one human. I'm like, I cannot do everything on my own, especially the things that I suck at and that I hate. Like I need the help. And these are her specialty. So I was like, fuck, I missed the boat. Anyway, she finally opened up her books again. So I've officially hired her and we are starting to get things set up, which is also why I said like I've decided this is the last episode for this season because I just think that like it there's so much for season two and there's so many plans that I've had for ages for Coach by Sez, my coaching business, but I just have needed the help to actually get it done. So feel like this is a good, like, it's going to be a clean slate and she's going to be able to help me so much. And I'm so fucking excited. Like, I just don't think you guys understand. Um, and so I hired a VA. In the last couple of months as well, my car died twice. And then it fully died, fully cooked it. Sent it to the wreckers. I have been like logistically trying to do everything the last 5 weeks or so has been a little bit of a nightmare, um, just for a lot of reasons. And I ended up buying a new car. I'm so excited. Literally have bought a brand new car and I'm literally like, I'm a bit nervous because I'm picking it up. If you guys listen to this when the day this goes live, I'm picking it up tomorrow. And I'm literally just like, I'm like a 28-year-old child. Like, what do you mean I'm going to go pick up a brand new car? That's mine. Like, they're just going to be like, here you go. Like, here's your key. Off you go. You know what I mean? What do you mean? So I'm literally just a 28-year-old child about to have a brand new car and I'm scared. Again, I'm scared. I nearly was like, oh no, don't like, no, 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 like I won't get a new one. But if you've been looking at secondhand cars these days, they're so expensive. It is better value to get a brand new one. So we're just going to ride the wave. I'm very nervous about it, but I'm just going to go and pick it up. And I'm so happy, so grateful. Just feels so good. I feel like March is just giving like fresh vibes, and I'm so here for it. So anyway, that is my little wrap up of the last 5 or so months. And I just want to, again, I wanted to relate this to health and fitness in the term of like, where could you be if you actually just said yes? Right? Imagine, go back to that VA thing. How much further along could I be in doing XYZ tasks had I actually just hired her in November? Had I asked for her help back then, I would be so much further along. But I kept being like, no, I'll do it myself. I knew I wasn't gonna be able to do it myself. I literally, like, I am just one human. I'm literally just a girl. I'm trying to figure it all out. And having someone who's actually knowledgeable and it's their expertise, why would I not hire them? You know, I would be so much further along had I just done the thing and said yes back in November. So, relating this to health and fitness, right? Say you want to hire a coach or a PT, or you want to sign up to a gym, or like you want to try a dance class, like whatever the kind of thing is you want to do, it's terrifying to start it. But how much further along would you be if you just said yes? Like you're gonna have to say yes at some point. If you know, like deep down, you can't do it on your own, or deep down you want to try that new thing, you literally just have to say yes. And the hardest part is getting there. The hardest part is showing up. And this is a conversation I had with some of my clients the other night. The hardest part, not even just gym related, like just in life. The hardest part is just showing up. It's just actually going. It's like getting yourself ready and then getting there. Once you're there, like the rest takes care of itself, you know? Say you're going to a dance class. Once you're there, you're in the class. You're just going to follow the teacher, do what they tell you to do. Maybe you're trying a new gym and you're trying a group class, same thing. The hardest part is getting there. Once you're there, just listen to the instructor. They'll tell you what to do. Maybe it's hiring a coach. Again, the hardest part is not physically getting there, but like actually just sending a message. Once you talk to them, just communicate with them. Say, this is what I'm looking for. Can you help me? Whatever questions you have. And then they can guide you in that direction. And then if you say yes, there you go. Then they're going to help you. So you've done that point of getting there, and then they're here to help. So this is something I want you guys to think about moving forward. Where can you say yes? Where are things that you've been putting off, avoiding, that you're afraid of, that you know deep down is something you want to do? Please stop living life being afraid. Like you cannot live life without taking risks. Okay? I'm gonna leave it there. I knew this was going to be a quick one. I want it to be a quick one. Like I said, season two, I have, again, a lot of plans for season two. Like, again, these are plans that I have been thinking of for the last couple of months, but it is something that I just need the help with execution and planning and editing and like all the other things. So this first season has almost been like a bit of a trial run for me. And I would love you guys to, send me a message on, I was supposed to say send me a message on DM, send me a message on Instagram or leave a comment or anything, maybe an episode that you loved, something that resonated with you, something you'd love to hear more of, maybe any guests you'd like me to get on for season two, because again, like there is a lot that goes into the back end of things. And I do have a few guests that I've got lined up for season two, but I want to obviously, you guys that like continuously listen, I would love to make it more beneficial for you because this is literally free content. It's free advice. I'm just literally here yapping currently at the dining room table, but I'm just here yapping and you guys can choose what I'm going to talk about. So whatever you want to hear from me, let me know. But I am so, so, so excited for season two, for the rest of Balancing Her, for just everything. Like I said, I'm getting really fresh vibes from March, and I'm just the next couple of months going to be amazing. So anyway, oh, that's another thing as well. I'm going to start a deficit in a few weeks. So that's a random thing. If you want to follow along, go to my Instagram. I always document my deficits on my Instagram. So I will obviously be over there at Coach by Sez, but I'll leave it down below as always. Thank you so much to everyone who has literally been there since day one and been there since the start of Balancing Her and who listens. I see you guys and I really appreciate it. And I just want to make this bigger and better for you because you guys deserve the best. And I want to put out the best work. So thank you so much. I'm going to love you. I'm going to leave you. Thank you for being here through the whole season. And I will see you whenever we air season two. Unknown yet, but I'll see you guys then. Bye.